Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Deep3 podcast. Today, I have the great pleasure of having one of the Get Better Academy coaches on the podcast. His name is Jimmy Rhoades. Jimmy, how are you?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me. Happy to be here. Happy to talk with someone in America, my homeland. So, yeah, thanks for having me.
I know it's been. I'm sure it's a tough time for you guys. So, for those that don't know, Get Better Academy is Jimmy will talk about this, but it's been one of my favorites since I found out about it. It's basically an American academy overseas, right? Right, Jimmy?
Yeah, we're in the Czech Republic, but we're an international academy. So we have players from all over Europe. We even have had players from Senegal. We have a player from Bahamas right now. So we're very international. Like we got, I think, 13 or 14 countries represented over here.
Awesome. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So I kind of fell in love with this project, or last time when we met, he told me about some of the kids that you guys are having, you know, leave the academy to go to college or to go pro. And I think that's kind of one of the greatest things about it that once they finish up this academy, they can go pro, they can go to college, and you guys even have your own pro team now, right?
Yeah, so this year we competed in it's called the Czech First Division, but ultimately it's the second highest division in the Czech Republic, and we're currently in first place in it. And if we win the tournament, that was supposed to happen at the end of the season, we'd be moving up into the KNBL, which is the Czech Top League, which is essentially the pro league.
Yeah, that's the league with Nimber, right?
Exactly, exactly.
A lot of people are familiar with Nimberg. I mean, they've had some great players over the years.
And they're doing very well in Champions League this year. So that's a team. We have to see what happens now, obviously, with all the craziness with the epidemic, but that's who we hope to be competing with for years to come.
Yeah. So since you did mention, the virus and everything, how what are you guys doing now as far as your players? Are they still there? Did you guys send them home or what's the
Many of them we kind of sent home because we didn't know when we'd be able to train again. Currently, we're still not able to train, but we have four players kind of on standby, and we give them a workout plan of things to do outside. Our strength and conditioning coach prepared a program for all 30 plus of our players that and the videos they send us that they're doing a good job of achieving. And we're hoping by the end of this month that we could be getting the back in the gym soon.
That's awesome. That's good stuff right there. And I hope like everybody gets back in the gym. I think we all miss it. We're all
Hmm.
basketball junkies here, so
Yeah, it's
it's a tough time for everybody.
certainly. And yeah, like even just to get shots up or small groups, we're waiting for those days to happen. And then our players will start, trickling back in from their home countries.
Cool. And now that you mentioned actually, small groups and stuff like that, let's start from the beginning. How was Get Better Academy founded? And let's talk about the coaching staff because I know you guys have a lot of Americans on the coaching staff, and it's like a blend of cultures there. The American culture, the American basketball culture, and the European basketball culture, and I find that
Yeah,
very cool, very different.
it's great. It's every year there's one or two coaches that might move on and one or two that join the staff. Um, this year we have a coach that played in the KNBL as we talked about before. His name's Lukas Winhart. He's doing a great job, especially becoming a skill development coach. He went right from playing to joining us pretty much. So it's been a good transition, and the players like to be around him because he's been where they want to go. Whether guys want to go to college or pro, the end goal is pro, and he's been there. So he's been great to have around. We also had a coach Andrew who was working for the Baylor basketball program for his undergraduate degree, and he does a lot of our analytics, a lot of our film work. So he's from Texas. We got another guy from Czech Republic, and then we'll get into our founder, if you could see on the screen, Julian Betko. He founded the academy. Yeah, 2014. I see there. Yeah, 2014. He played in the Midwest. He lived in the Midwest and played at Butler University. He was actually Brad Stevens' first captain. So that's pretty
Nice. That's
cool.
one of my
Every
favorite
year,
coaches right there.
yeah. I mean, is one of the greatest. And it's been great. You can see there's a picture of them talking at a presentation together. Every year we take the seniors, on a trip to play at a prep school tournament in the States. The past few years, we've been playing in Rhode Island, and usually we get tickets to a Celtics game, and Brad comes and talks to the players. A player I usually come by to a Celtics player. Um, and yeah, from Julian, you could tell he was at Butler because like our defensive schematics are brilliant. There's things I was coaching in Division II basketball before I came here. It's things I've never seen before. Like we know how to guard I believe we know how to guard every action, and depending on personnel and the strengths of the opponent, obviously that changes how we guard a cross screen, a down screen, back pick, several different pick and roll coverages. Julian is a defensive genius, and he's also a sniper and really good at like he could see a problem with a player's shot and fix it instantly, and that's something that really helps our young players coming in.
It's awesome right there, like what you were just saying, because you're talking about the X and O's, basically the pro team or like the higher level. We also focus on the individual stuff, so that's why when I said in the beginning that you guys kind of blend all aspects of it. So let's say that some parents are listening right now. What is the age that you guys kind of get guys to come in, and what's the protocol as far as once they want to, let's say, come to Get Better Academy? What's the process look like?
So typically, the youngest players will probably be about 16 years old. We've had a 15-year-old a couple times, but ultimately, we start recruiting guys at for example, European Championships U16 division or the younger EYBL competitions in several countries in Europe. Um, and but guys also spend their prep year with us. And actually, this year we plan on opening our market to the United States. I'm actually happy to talk about this. Is we're open to if there's a player not getting the looks they're wanting from college coaches in the States, come develop come into Europe, develop for a year with our great coaching staff. I'll talk more about. And obviously, it's great life experience, but you're also preparing yourself to get that D1 scholarship. Or I'm getting looked at by low majors. I think I'm a mid-major plus player. So you're getting the skill work, getting the European experience. You kind of see the landscape of what pro life is like out here. So that's a market we're certainly looking into outside of obviously all of Europe as well.
That's pretty cool right there. I didn't know that. It's actually a good step because I think a lot of the players right now in high school in the U.S., they kind of find themselves in this, okay, the really good ones, they kind of try to skip college from what we've seen lately, kind of make some money and then go to the NBA.
Yeah.
But this is also a bridge. This is a bridge, a different bridge you guys offer. I think that's pretty cool. That let's say, like you said, you're a say lower Division 1 player, and you think you can play higher, and this is a good way to get seen. This is a good way to get the skill work, uh, and it's also a good way to you know play higher level and play against grown men, right? You guys play in the second
Hmm.
league. I mean, it's different than playing at a prep. I think. I think
If we get this KNBL league, I believe we'll have the top three Czechs men's leagues. So there's definitely a level for everybody in regards to players that are older than 19 years old. And one, I don't want to say knock because it's not entirely true, but the upside of going to prep school in the States is obviously exposure in front of college coaches. But we have at least 10 Division 1 coaches flying out every year because of our relationships with the coaches that they'll fly out every year and come see our guys. Sometimes they have a target in mind, but other times they're saying, "Hey, we need a point guard. You guys have any point guards? We got 4 of them. Come check us out." Oh, and they come, they see him. Oh, I need a 2022 big man. That kid's young over there. I like him as well. And they keep tabs on him. So we get 10 plus coaches visiting every year. We play in the States in front of several coaches, obviously. We play international tournaments. We played in the Adidas Next Generation tournament, which is essentially EuroLeague clubs under 18 all going at it. We host a tournament. We've had Barcelona in it, some great teams from Germany, Italy, best teams from Serbia come out. We're basically playing Europe's best often. Scouts are coming for that, and plenty of college coaches are coming out. And yeah, so exposure is something you get a lot of at GBA, even though it is over the pond.
Yeah, but you never know. Let's say I'm a let's say mid major, and I want to end up going to Kentucky, so I just choose to come overseas. With that kind of talent, you might just after 1 year, get seen, gets in the Czech league, improve with you guys. He might just end up staying overseas, skipping college. So I think it's a lot
Certainly.
of avenues that it's a lot of pros. Uh,
Hmm.
you know, yeah, I mean, staying home in the U.S. can be a big pro for a lot of guys. But other than that, I think you guys, and let's get into this right now. I think what's your program as far as player development? I know you guys invested a lot in player development, bringing new staff, and we talked about it last summer, the summer league. Uh,
Hmm.
you guys were excited. I think you guys hired a new coach too. So if you can go into that right there.
Yeah, actually, perfect segue into Gilbert Abraham. He's our director of skill development, uh, and he's fantastic, man. Like, to put it in simple terms, the things he does. If you're playing 2K or any video game, and like there's the tutorial mode, and you're learning how to kill a crossover or use power game to back down a smaller guy. The video game lets you get reps with that on a easier opponent or nobody. You're learning the buttons. That's what Gilbert does with people. Like, he's watching film all the time. Everyone from like Kyrie Irving to guys playing EuroLeague, Euro Cup. Like, he's studying the game. Every player that walks in the gym, he watches for 5 minutes, and he has a player comparison for them. Like, so and so plays a lot like Boyan Bogdanovic. Let's say he will break down Bogdanovic's film, show you his film versus what you do, things you need to do to be more like him, ways that you're similar. He'll take you in the gym, break down every micro little step, your foot placement on a jab step, the way you move a ball on a pump fake, the way you need to finish high off the glass. I can't even do him justice how detail oriented he is. And he does it all seemingly so simple. Like, if you just watch his workout, like as an uneducated person of who he is or the players he's worked with, you would say, "Oh yeah, okay, we're going to do that at my practices." But he sees every little thing. I've learned so much from him. It's been unbelievable coaching with him.
What's this has been a long time thing for sports where parents think they can coach because it looks easy. It is easy, but it's all about details. Uh, I
Mhm.
could tell you, hey, go do a jab step and do this, and then you do it, and I'm like, okay, cool, like you're working. It's different when you guys have a guy like this, and it's in
Certainly.
small details, like how you jab, where's your foot, where does the ball go, does your head is looking at the ball, you're looking down, you're looking at the ring, where do you look? It's all these little details that really can take a player to the next level. And what do you guys do as far as so you guys work a lot individually? You guys have your
Yeah.
team practices, and you also do have a strength and conditioning program, right? Like you just mentioned that some of the guys have the programs to do at home.
Yeah. So individually, um, I could talk for 5 hours about this. Obviously, I won't. But individually, we have days that are shooting days, and sometimes it's Julian and Gil analyzing guys' shots and fixing the micro things that need to be fixed. But as we'll talk about later, every player is different. There's no one right way to shoot. Smaller players, bigger players. Dirk Nowitzki, big guys are shooting over their head. A lot of coaches will say you're not supposed to do that. But if you can't block it and it goes in, obviously it's a good shot. So a lot of times we rep out everything, and we're very religious about. We call it our Miami 100 because it's something that Miami Heat do, and Gil isn't like thinking of drills in his head and performing them with our players. It is well researched. He has connections all over the NBA and all over the highest levels of college. He knows what programs are doing. Simply copying them and doing them the best way for our guys. So tweak them here and there if need be. But so guys are shooting 100 threes every day as the beginning of practice for our skill warm ups, for our skill workouts. And then we do time shootings. We have a variety of 2-minute drills where you have to make a certain amount of shots from different spots. A lot of it involves cardio within the 2 minutes. And when there's the pressure of the clock and the fatigue of running, if you're making shots then, it's very game one.
Yeah, I
And
agree
then,
with that.
so I mean, that's just a shooting day. And then obviously there's other elements of the game, finishing around the basket, uh, let's say post footwork, because it's not just big man posting anymore. A lot of guards are posting. LeBron's catching the ball on the post now, and guys are cutting all around him. He's making the right read. So we call that power game if you're dribbling on the perimeter, attack, and turn and start posting somebody. And we work on all of these details with our guys daily.
That's yeah, that's great info right there. And what do you guys do as far as a lot of parents or kids could be like, hey, like what do I do about my school, right? If I come over and housing, I know you guys offer really top of the line, you know, housing, nutrition, all that stuff.
Yes. So, in regards to school, I'm sure I know it's possible in America, UK. Uh, all of our internationals go through this. So Latvia, Estonia, Baltic countries, Balkan countries, everywhere else is we uh, we encourage international students to figure out their way online. We have connections with certain schools that might be different price ranges, but like that, they're not affiliated with us, so we're not making any money off of that. Just we point them in the direction of the schools we know will work to get to the NCAA if that's their desired route. But Czech and Slovakian players will go to the local school here, and but yeah, because we're an international academy, mostly it's online. They go home for exams sometime in December, January, then the end of the year, May, April, May, whatever the time may be. But we're really strict on their grades because if a player can't get into college because of their grades, it doesn't just hurt them, it hurts us. It hurts our reputation as an academy. We've had players have majors from offers from top 25 schools. And yes, we accept the offer. Please send SAT score. Oh, that's not so great. Please send, their transcripts. Sorry, we can't get them into school. And we're madder than the players and the coaches are because, our whole goal is to get players to where they want to go. And that's way beyond the basketball court. That's academics. Players are in study hall an hour and a half to 2 hours, Monday through Thursday, sending in their grades every month. If they're not at a certain level, then you don't practice, you don't play until it's figured out. You stay in your room and study. And then obviously nutrition. We eat at a local restaurant that treats us as family. We get great meals every day. They really care for us. They have a Christmas party for us and everything. They treat us like we're their own kids. Great people that run the place. And then in regards to strength and conditioning, this is a great guy to know as well. We call him Baltic Move. That's his Instagram. You can see his website right here, balticmove.net. But he's as good a strength coach I've ever been around. He's so passionate. The way Gil is detailed and always studying, so is Stan. And so guys are in there 3 to 5 times a week, depending on their body type and needs. And he has an individual packet, 4 or 5 pages long, of what each player needs. And he think about that, 30 plus guys, they each have their own individual workouts and he's supervising all of it. He's a machine.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are clearly, trying to prepare them as best as possible for, the next level. If it's pro, if it's college, um, that just, it's TBD for a lot of the guys. Um, but clearly, guys are prepared, and um, I mean, if you're 16, 17, you really want to play basketball and you want to go to the next level, I think this is the right way to do it. A lot of high schools in the U.S., for example, can't really do this, because when I was younger, the whole thing was you kind of got to go to the U.S. to develop, right?
Hmm.
Now things are changing. I think European academies are getting a lot better, and you guys are uh, closing this gap. You're a bridge kind of between, like I said, between the U.S. and Europe. So you offer both. And in regards to school, like you said, I mean, even now, look, all the schools are online during this virus. So it's clearly something that can be done, and I think in some ways also benefits the kid because they do have they might have more time on their hands to work out and study or do some of their other explore some of their other passions. So now let's go like into a little bit more detail as far as coaching, and we've talked about is what do you find as the greatest challenge in coaches like all these levels? From the juniors that you have at 16, you said, right, to the guys that are like playing, let's say, in the second league for you guys. What do you find as like the greatest challenge to kind of
Ah,
coach
that's
those?
a good question. In terms of basketball, like strictly basketball, every team's different. So we have a we call Liga and Extra Liga and the under 19s, and the Extra Liga is essentially like a American varsity, while the Liga is JV. And then we have the two men's teams, and every team's leading scorer is like a different position. So we had on our top men's team, we had a killer wing that was dropping nearly 30 a night. On our under 19 teams, one of our top players is a killer pick and roll guy, great decision maker, very unselfish. Um, then on our second men's team, we had a big guard that wasn't necessarily the greatest in pick and roll, but you get him in post up situations in the mid post and cutting off of them, or get him room to isolate so he could big body somebody. Every team is different, and it almost felt like being involved in coaching each team, like a G League. What I imagine, I hear Nick Nurse talking about experiences in the G League. Like it might take your best player one night, you got to run a whole different offense. As a coach, you have to be able to know what fits the current team you have on the floor at this time. And because we have 35 plus, I'd say about 35, 36 guys. I have to look at the paper, but 35 guys playing on four teams. You never know who you're going to get on a given day, and it's been a blessing to coach and get that experience of getting different reps with different rosters. And in regards to the big picture, the biggest challenge is it's really understanding that with 35 guys, everybody's different. Everyone has different needs. Everyone has different motivations. Everyone responds to criticism differently. Everyone has different levels of confidence. Everyone needs to hear different things, and being able to manage that and kind of groom that, knowing he needs this to be successful. While my point guard, I could really get into him and yell at him and be aggressive with him. Or my big man is not confident, maybe like a dog. I got to feed him confidence, make him feel good. The biggest challenge is, that goes for pros as much as 17, 16-year olds, that there's different personalities everywhere, and being able to manage that.
Yeah, I think managing personalities is huge, especially at least in pro basketball, from my experience. Managing expectations of every player, and
Certainly.
I can imagine when you have so many guys that you know they want to go to the next level. Um, that's one of the top priorities is to manage. It's managing the players,
Hmm.
especially when they're younger. Maybe they have one bad game or they play a little bit less one game, and that's something you have to manage. Because they can get down, they don't work as hard. So I'm sure you guys have your hands full as far as that goes.
Certainly. And then, a lot of guys are thinking about where's my scholarship going to come from? If I don't score 20 plus points, I'm not going to get it. Or these guys on the pro leagues are thinking about what am I going to do after this team? Uh, how am I going to get a contract if I don't drop 40? Like everyone has different what they think they need to do. And, with our staff, with the expertise we have in different degrees and different levels, they need to understand that we know what it takes for them to get where they want to go, because scoring 25 points in the Czech league is not what's going to impress a college coach or what's going to impress a coach in Spain. They obviously, it's becoming a complete player, being coachable, being a good person on and off the court.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, just be an academy and preparing guys for both levels, pro and college. And they're all waiting, like you said. They're all waiting. It's like, hey, what am I going to do next? Why is my scholarship coming? Is it coming now?
Exactly.
Is it next year? And I know you guys had, guys that even one year, and then they signed in college this year too, right? We were just talking about how you guys had a few guys signing D1 scholarship this year, right?
Yeah, so I mean, in our first 7 years, we signed 35 players to colleges. Um, I don't know the D1 number off the top of my head, but I'm sure it's close to 15 and 20, somewhere in that range. And then this year, so that was the first 7 years, and this year we've already signed 5 guys to college. And we have about 7 or 8 more that we're looking to sign. So all college coaches out there, by the way, I'll give my contact information at the end of this presentation, and reach out to me with your needs, and maybe we have someone that can help your program a lot. But we've signed 3 or 4 guys D1 already this year. We got František Barton going to Mount St. Mary. We got Mark Jackson, Estonian national team player. He's going to Southern Miss. Um, Liam Sorensen just signed to Idaho State. We're really excited about that. He's a Danish point guard, really killer, really strong, great kid, great worker, and we also got Rostio Shipkowski going to Hartford, joining a player we sent there last year as well, big man. So yeah, we got 4 signed D1s right now, just off the top of my head, and I think there's more to come.
And with the program you guys have behind, the skill development, the coaches' experience, like you said, Julian, all you guys have great experience at the college level, have played at a high level, and the strength coach, I think um, probably test this. Your guys are pretty college ready compared to coming from high school. I think your guys are, you know, ready to step in, ready to contribute. Especially those guys that you put in the second league. They've seen the physicality. They didn't only play kids their age, right?
I
So
mean, we had I could think of 3 off the top of my head, freshmen playing major minutes for their clubs. Sigu Jawara was at Loyola Marymount. He was in the rotation in WCC, killer Spanish point guard. Arthur Kanonchuk at Southern Mississippi had a phenomenal year. He scored, I believe, 19 points against Gonzaga. That was exciting for all of us to watch. Miroslav Staffel was a great contributor at Hartford right away. And I'm sorry to the guys I'm forgetting about, but we have guys ready to contribute right away.
in some ways, it's a good thing, right? I mean, if you forget some guys, it means you have a lot of them. So it's
Yeah,
it's really
it's
good.
it's a lot, man, and I'm blessed because with all these players we're working with, they're all great people. Obviously, we keep in contact with all of them. Wherever I am in the world, I know someone that's awake that I could text and say, "How you doing?" And if it's 3 in the morning here and I can't sleep, I'll call Jacob Dombeck, who was playing in Colorado this year. How you doing, JD? And if I'm over there in the States, I'll call some of my guys out here in GBA. So I'm really blessed to be out here.
They mentioned that actually so all these coaches are over there 24/7 with these players. You guys have, they're invested. That they basically moved, like you, Jimmy. You moved from the U.S. to Czech Republic, so you guys are there 24/7. It's not like
Mhm.
just in case people were wondering, how it works. Like you just kind of move there, and that's where you live now. That's where you work. That's where everything happens.
And it's a full-time job. Like now that we have this quarantine, like here's an example here of just I won't show you everything, but like we're making SWOT analysis for our guys, just their strengths, weaknesses, what they need to work on, what I think about, their future. Not me, but us as a staff. We're doing this for all our guys, whether they're going to college or returning next year, and we'll include, players to watch that are similar to them, and the college level, the pro level, NBA, Euro League, Czech, whatever. Like we're just because basketball is not going right now. We as coaches, we might even be working more than normal.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways to prepare. I think, for example, mental preparation is huge in basketball. That's sometimes overlooked. Like you said, just in analyzing your own game. So, as a staff, how do you guys do it? You guys meet like every day and practice plan, or there's like you guys meet once a week. Um, how's that? How does that go for you guys?
We're together every day. We meet every day. we make practice plans for the week typically on a Monday morning meeting. But there's so much other things to cover. Who's working on so and so's highlight tape? How is Tomash's injury going? Like, what do we need to do to get him back on the court? He could do contact, non-contact, basically. So basically, we meet once a week to talk about the big picture things, and daily we might make small tweaks here and there. Andre hurt his ankle in practice. We need to move. We need to move Anthony up to the older group. Things like that.
Okay, that's great info right there. And since you guys have all these players that want to play next level, what are some like the lessons or like the points of emphasis you can try to make with these guys to get them over the hump? Because I've seen kids that are like 17, 18. They have the potential, and we even talked about. We're not gonna give names, but we talked about a certain player that we talked about maybe like a year ago that you wanted to bring in. And just you just end up not working out. He chose something else, but
Hmm.
yeah, I thought you guys could help a lot. You thought you can help him a lot. So what do you help them to just get over that hump? Because there's a hump. I've seen it strength wise, skill wise, confidence wise, and you guys dealing with so many that really need to get over that hump to be able to play college, to be able to play pros. Is there a certain approach you guys have to it, or is this just let's say iron sharpens iron in some ways that hey, they're gonna play up, they're gonna play against grown men, they're gonna play, you're 16, you're gonna play against my under 18 point guard, and he's gonna pressure you all, all practice long.
Hmm.
You got to deal with it. Is there a specific way, or you just kind of, like I said, just throw them in the fire and
That's a good question.
uh,
Like, well, everybody's different. That hump is different for everybody, and that's where it could maybe get complicated. And for example, we talked about guys thinking they need to score all the points. We've had players. We had a national team player from Azerbaijan, and he was leading the like he was dropping like 40 in national team games. They're playing, I think, C division that year. He comes to us, and his whole life, coach is saying, "Go score, go score, go score." He comes to us. He maybe initially is averaging 8 points per game, but we're asking him to defend, we're asking him to rebound, and he had a mental block because it's so different, so radically different than what he thought basketball was. But for a player like that, it's telling them, well, obviously they're seeing every day in practice how everybody else performs, but it's seeing the big picture of basketball, and the key is to give them empirical evidence of what we're talking about. It's not just saying, hey, you need to rebound better because I'm the coach, but like you want to be, you play like our former guy Arthur Kanonchuk. He's averaging 6 rebounds a game in NCAA. You're averaging 4 in the Czech league. Uh, you think a coach is going to look for a player like you? Obviously, you need to perform better in that area. But the other thing is because of our collaboration with the pro team, we don't necessarily have the young guys practicing with the pros, but our U18 Estonian national team player might come in the gym as is one of our leading scorers and best 3-point shooter in the program this year. He's close to 40 years old. Standa Zuzak. He is a killer from 3-point land, and he's big. He's probably 6'8", 6'9", and he's very hard to stop because he's physical. He can score with both hands, and they walk in the gym, and he's working on very similar things that the U18 player's working on. So they see, okay, like it's not like the Michael Jordans and Kobe Bryants and Kevin Garnett's and Anthony Davises of the world are working on different things than I am. It's just mastering the small details, and it's
yeah,
cool that we have our pros to prove that.
it's mastering the fundamentals, and
Exactly.
I think it's how you do it, not what you do. A lot of the times that I've seen, and some that I've talked to a few coaches, is the consistency, right? So what you
Hmm.
talked about is you guys are consistent with your work, with your, how many high school kids really, let's say, you're 16, like you said, 17, are in the gym, like you said, every day doing skill work, doing practice, if you're really serious about this, you have to do that. I think, if you want to play next level, you can't just be like, hey, this Saturday I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do my strength and conditioning. I'm not gonna do my skill work. I'll do it tomorrow. And
Hmm.
that's really the difference between maybe you going D3 to D2, or D2 to D1, or low major to high major. It's those things that really push you over the top, and you guys staying on top of the kids, because you have to do it. Kids are gonna be kids, regardless of where they are in the world. There's a lot of distractions there, and you know, so it's really awesome
Definitely.
what you guys
And
are
then just to like that's totally true. And the last part of that, just to add, because you made great points, is that just doing the work every day, the thing that makes a kid uncomfortable in November, they're feeling great about in February. And it's just being persistent. You got to sit down when you on your shot. You got to have awareness on pick and roll defense. Whatever their issue is, we're constantly picking and prodding them that they need to be better at it. Obviously different players react to criticism differently, so maybe it's a talk on the side, maybe it's film analysis because we watch a lot of film with our guys, maybe it's yelling at them depending on who it is, and constant reminders are being forced to do the right thing the right way all the time. Results are going to happen whether they're comfortable or not.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, I think we've covered the basketball part. We've covered, like you said, the housing, schooling, and stuff. And let's go on the last part, basically, which is how can kids get to GBA? Can they apply? Do they only have to be seen by you guys and contacted, or maybe let's say there's a kid right now, in my home country, Romania, that
Hmm.
listens to this and like, hey, you know what? Like, I want to try GBA. Like, can I try out? Can I make a phone call? And also, let's talk about pricing too, because not everybody can be on a scholarship. I just assume that. I don't know
Hmm.
exactly, but I just assume that. You know, of course,
Yeah,
you want, or if you're a potential pro, I'm sure you guys do scholarships, but there's you guys have to live too, right? It's not
definitely.
any. I mean, any prep school costs, any high school in the U.S. costs. The top of the line products, they cost just whatever business it is. I think if you're top of the line, or if you want to be top of the line, and you want to go to the best or some of the best, you pay that premium price, right? I mean, it's life in general. So let's talk about that too. If you can just kind of make a transition into how kids can get to GBA,
Hmm.
and the cost of it.
Yeah, so uh, getting to GBA, here's my contact information right off the bat: Instagram, Twitter, Gmail.
Awesome.
Um,
For those that are only listening right now, they're just on the audio version. I suggest you guys get on YouTube and kind of see this, because most of the thing were that were presented here. Jimmy was kind enough to have a really nice presentation for us. So just hop on YouTube real quick, just to see the video, so you can see Jimmy's contacts, and also
yeah, and it's for those that are listening. It's my name is Jimmy Rhoades. My last name is Rhoades. So my Instagram is at JIMMY RHOADES, and Gmail would be Coach Jimmy Rhoades and at gmail.com. And Twitter is Coach J Rhoades. So if you get that Rhodes spelling right, you can see me
I'm sure
even
they'll
without
find
seeing
you right now. It's like they will
it.
find you. So you are in charge of you are the director of recruiting. So
Yeah. So ultimately, we do have, as coaches, as staff, we have to eat, obviously, as you said. But we are not very, but we're flexible to different needs of families, different situations of families. Some families will make a one-time payment right at the beginning of the year. Some will make two or three throughout the year, every few months. And you know, I don't get too much into specifics because it's the job of our director, Julian Betko. But there's plans made where, like, perhaps you pay once you get your scholarship for college, or if you're a potential pro, once you get your first contract, this or that. There's several options. If you're a player that really wants to get better, and we see uh, potential in you, we're gonna make it work both ways so that we're taken care of and you are. And the best way to get the financials figured out is we recommend all potential players to come for, we call it a tryout, but really the experience is for you, and you come for 2 to 3 days to Jędrzejków Hradec, Prague, Czech Republic. It's about 90-minute drive from Prague, 90-minute drive from Vienna. So two close airports to us, and you stay for 2 3 days. You see how you live where the players live. You eat what the players eat. You're in all the trainings. Depending on the time of year, we might not have you in the team practices, but you'll see how those go. See the level of detail, attention to detail, what we demand as coaches. You get the full experience for 2 for 3 days, and we get to analyze the player. Not just are they able to score, but do they take our coaching? Do they adjust to? We give them, an instruction coaching or like advice, and do they take the advice? Do they make the change? We tell them get lower on the shot. Are they sitting down more? Do we see a conscious effort for that? And all of that put in place. Um, we work on a price. That's something again Julian works on primarily, but for players under the age of 18, there's also this is not money we see, but there's a FIBA transfer. I think it costs a couple of thousand
Yeah, I think it depends on
euros.
like,
It's
the
pretty
number
expensive.
of the years the player has been with that certain club prior
Mm.
to coming to you guys and stuff like that. Yeah, but
And
that's really
that's expensive, and that's something. Sorry to interrupt, but that's expensive. That's something, like we're not an academy looking to get rich. Uh, I don't own a car out here or anything like that. It's just, as long as we're getting by, there are going to be fees like that. That we don't even see money on. But ultimately, any money spent is an investment on your future. You're guaranteed if you listen to us and do what we ask you to do, you are going to get better and you're going to position yourself to get to the next level. It doesn't mean you sign a contract with GBA, you're going to Division 1 college. It means that you need to be coachable, you need to be adaptable, you need to be willing to learn and take instruction, and you need to grow as a person and a player. And if you do that, good things happen for you, and that is something.
yeah. I mean, no one can guarantee success. I think that's regardless of the level. You know, even I'm a big fan of Coach Calipari. I'm a big fan of Tony Bennett at Virginia,
Mhm.
right at Villanova. Even they can guarantee success. I mean, yes, Calipari has had amazing success developing players, just this one and done guys, right? But he can guarantee it. I mean, he's failed every now and then, and like you said, it's they're giving themselves the best chance to get there. That's all you can do, really. Uh,
Exactly.
having the best coaches, having the best housing conditions, the best nutritionist, and everything. It's like a full package that you guys offer, and that's pretty cool. And the ending note, I really want to end. It's like even like you said, the visit that they have with you guys, which is something that all the big clubs do. Also, I
Mhm.
mean, the Real Madrids, there's no different. There's some kind of visit, some kind of tryout there too. They're not blindly taking anyone. Um, that's pretty cool, and it's also something that you do in college, right? So it's something that you guys again prepare them in some ways for these visits, for these college visits. I know you one of the kid that's going to Mount St. Mary's. He's had a visit there with his family, right? So
Mhm.
you guys prepare them for those visits as well. And yeah, this is Jimmy. This has been really a pleasure. I think this is great information for European coaches, European parents, and also worldwide Americans too. And it's really good stuff to know how you guys operate, who you guys are, who are the people behind the curtains, right? A lot of times.
Yeah.
That goes either unnoticed or something. But I think this is really great. I really thank you for your time. I really thank you for taking time to make this presentation happen. And if anyone is interested, make sure you contact Jimmy, like you said, either Instagram or Jimmy Rhoades or Twitter at Coach J Rhoades or email at coachjimmyrhoades@gmail.com. He'll point you in the right direction. So just shoot him a question or something, and then I'm sure he's gonna point you in the right direction or tell you what to do, what's best to do next.
I
Jimmy,
appreciate you, man. I appreciate you having me on here. I love what you're doing with the podcast and training, And I just love everything you're doing on and off the court. I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you very much, Jimmy, and hopefully we'll see each other at Summer League in Vegas if things go well.
God willing, man.
Yeah, stay healthy and safe.
You too, bud. All right.